Hey there, it's Jenny, and it has been a while since I've added any additional videos, but I am excited to share with you this week in my memory planner, and I am using the Pink Fresh Simply the Best collection. I will link it up for you below. I am using the Cocoa Daisy Planner, and I'm also going to be using a pocket page this week as well. I am using This is kind of complicated, but because of my love for discs, I am keeping my unused pages on discs. And then when I have finished my pages, I am putting them in a 6x8 binder. So maybe in a future video, I will flip through that and share with you the process. But I love discs. I love storing things on discs. I love being able to take them out, put them in, there not being a mechanism, but storing them long term on a shelf, I just don't love storing things on discs. So I'm giving the 6x8 binder a try for long-term storage. So that's exciting because pocket pages are so much easier to create in a 6x8 album. So you can see I have already punched this for discs. The pages were in there, and then I will cover the white space or the punched holes with white sticker paper, punch them again for an album, and be done with it. All right, so I've got all of these great photos from this particular week that I have printed. Most of them are the 1.5 by 2 inches, and a couple of them are 2x3s, just ones that I wanted a little bit more emphasis on. And I'm finding that that is working really well for me. That's something I've only been doing for a couple of months, and it's really working quite well in that I don't love having all of the photos be 2x3. It's overwhelming to me on the page, but having a couple that stand out is really fun, and I'm liking that a lot. So you can see I have, it looks like 9-ish photos. It's kind of a good amount. It leaves some white space. I mean, it's a little touch much on the right side, but it's all right. Let's do some decorating to balance that out. So I'm going to use the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm going to punch part of a circle, not the whole thing, because I don't want the whole thing. I want one edge to be straight, and I'm going to put it up against that top edge of the paper and layer other embellishments, but also my photo on top of it as well. So I've got the adhesive for both of the items, and then I've got those layered up there, and it really turned out exactly how I was hoping. I love that, and I love that sort of grid. I mean, it's, grid-ish on that pattern paper, and I love the color. I'm also really loving this piece of patterned paper. It's got like basically just a whole bunch of cut aparts is really what it is, which is amazing because it absolutely stretches your embellishments for the collection like tenfold. So it's really very cool. And the embellishments are super cute as well. The colors in this collection are fantastic. They're really, really like everyday colors. They're not remotely seasonal. They're not like pastel and feminine, which, let's be clear, I love pastels. I love feminine. It's just really nice to have just really super everyday collection. And this has been on the market for quite some time now. I got mine at a cherry on top, and I am also using these 49 in Market. Again, I will link them up below. These rub-ons to go with it. I love the little definitions. I love the paint splatters. It matches with the collection. I really wanted to combine the two. The collection is really linear and straight and modern. And then these rub-ons have a little bit of, they're a little messier, right? You have the paint splatters and the sort of distressing, and I just love the two of them together and that they coordinate really well. So now I'm using the adhesive to adhere all my photos down, and you'll see that I did overlap, or I'm going to overlap the ones in the upper right hand. They're both of the California poppies, which I basically live amongst. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the view of the poppies out my window, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool to have that, so I enjoy it very much. Anyway, I wanted to capture that in my memory planner because it's very, very fun to look back on in years where there are not poppies, or at least not as many poppies as there are in a year like this one, thanks to all the rain that we're getting. So now I'm going to place another rub-on over here. It's not meant to be that like, oh my gosh, we're going to have all the rub-ons. It's just going to be all rub-ons in this layout. That's not it at all. It's meant to be that we're going to combine these rub-ons with the other elements, the stickers, especially because they're very cute, and again, they're just very clean and modern and straightforward. And I love pairing these little elements together. So you have that distressed rub-on, and then you put it with that oval and then that little tab together, and they just feel really beautiful and concise. And then you've got that cool background. I love it a lot. I am liking these stickers for their size in memory planning. They make the perfect accents for my photos and for creating clusters as well. They're not too big. They're not itty bitty, teeny tiny, but they really just work on a layout this size very well. So a lot of words on that piece of pattern paper that I'm using as a cut apart. And I love that too, because I'm able to create little, like right here where I'm pairing a couple of them together and they just look fantastic. I'm using the clear glue, otherwise the tape runners are just too big, at least for me and my preferences. So a little dot of clear glue makes it stick well, and it's easy to use on such tiny little embellishments. Now I'm trying to be mindful that I'm also going to be creating some pocket pages out of this same collection and these same supplies in a little bit. So I don't want to go overboard and use every amazing thing that I love right on the layout, because I will absolutely want to use some of these bits and pieces in the pockets. So that means being a little more creative, which I also love too, because I love thinking a little bit more about the overall process versus doing it super blindly. Like just, oh yeah, this looks good, stick it down. This looks good, stick it down. Like I love that challenge. It's kind of like a puzzle to keep it all together. This little cluster in the bottom ends up being really cool with that word sticker glued on top of that label. They just look like they're meant to be together down there, and I love that it's very simple. The other two clusters in this layout are a little bit more complicated, so having that one that's very simple feels like there's a little bit of extra breathing room, and it just helps to keep things a little more, I don't want to say simple yet again, but simple, because a lot of the other bits and pieces, there's a lot going on. So I like that. I recently purchased a fountain pen. I've had my eye on them for a little while and I wanted to try one out. So I picked up a beginner fountain pen just for fun, for no reason other than I was interested in trying it. And yeah, it's really fun to write with. I don't know if I'm going to become a fountain pen only type of person. There are challenges for me and the things that I like to do with fountain pens. One of them is writing on top of highlighted images, and then obviously I can't really highlight fountain pen either because of the ink. So writing on top of it, it gives it quite a bit of feathering, but it's okay. It's not awful or terrible. You can see that right here if you look closely, that there's just definitely a little bit of spreading from the ink once I've written on the highlighted strips. But if you're not doing that, it's really kind of fun to write with a fountain pen, and it feels really interesting and unique and different than just, a average felt tip pen. So I definitely do enjoy it, and I definitely will keep trying it a little bit more. So I'm using an aqua mild liner. It goes with the collection, but it's not really like overtly, like it just doesn't stand out. I wanted it all to blend together a little bit more, so it works really well, that aqua color. And then the dot marker is sort of a sagey green, and again, I'm not actually sure there's any sagey green in this collection, but it felt like it worked, so that is why I chose that. Now, there's only a handful of actual things that I really wanted to include this week in terms of activities or things that we actually had going on this week. So those are pretty light, but I am going to add some journaling, and I'm going to use a cream colored mild liner, which quite frankly, I use this one so infrequently because it is so understated, but it's really a very beautiful color, and I think it's going to be great for the journaling this week because it matches the collection. It goes really well, and it's just very understated. It's not calling attention to itself. It does the job of providing that little bit of extra color and giving the journaling a little bit of extra importance, but it's not like over the top, which I definitely normally do over the top. Now, because of the feathering slash spreading of the fountain ink, I decided to just go ahead and use my Sharpie pen for the journaling because I wanted to keep that concise and I wanted to make sure that it all fit in this area that I wanted. And so the spreading, just makes it a little bit more, makes me write a little bit bigger. So I had quite a few things I wanted to say about this particular week. And so it really worked that way. So yeah, that came together really beautifully. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to add one more last little cluster in this white space. It's kind of a joke, right? When I say, oh, I see a little bit more white space right here, let's fill it. But I do just really love the way a completely full layout comes together. So I'm going to cut apart that little itty bitty tag and use another little strip of words right here and layer that over the photos and that tag. I love this type of little cluster. It's so simple, but it comes together so beautifully. All right, so the week is finished. I'm just going to go back and add all of the date stickers now. And I talk about this Carpe Diem sticker book a lot, but it feels like a million stickers in here. And it works. It really works. It's very, very basic and functional and allows me to easily use undated planners. I have ADHD, and so undated planners have never really worked well for my brain, but these stickers being so easy to use it's been really a game changer for me. All right, so I've got my photos. I'm using a page protector that has 2 3x4 openings and 1 4x6 opening. And the 4x6s I'm not using for photos. I'm going to just create some little journaling cards out of the pattern paper and the supplies. I'm not pulling out any additional supplies. It's just the 6x6 pad. It is the cardstock stickers. That's honestly really it. And we're just going to place some things together. I loved that circular paper. I especially loved it going with my sons at an NBA game. And then this other one that is tickets. I also loved that. It went well with the weekend of flying to Wisconsin and going to an NBA game. So I'm going to embellish both sides just a little bit. Nothing crazy, nothing over the top. I really wanted it to be simple and clean lines, just basically like the overall week. So I've punched a quarter of a circle, which is so weird, like when you think about it that way, and I'm going to place it up in the corner of this journaling card and then place this blue strip down at the bottom. I love that color of blue for some reason. I'm really hooked on it right now. And then I'm going to take this red sticker, which I love because it has that pop of color, and the other half of the label that I used earlier on the actual planner pages and layer that with the little quarter circle. And I've created a really cute little journaling card that I'm very happy with that didn't take any additional supplies than what I was already doing. I also really liked this Good Times Ahead sticker and I wanted to use it on this particular layout, but the white, it wasn't going to stand out. So I just matted it on a piece of that grid paper that we used already, and I adhered it right here. So cute. I absolutely love that. It all just looks so fun together. And honestly, it was really fun to make, and I feel like that's kind of the the thing we have to remember here too, is that we want to capture memories, we want to create beautiful things, but we also want things that are fun to create as well. And that is absolutely something that I hit right here, which was, adding that little sticker on top of the basketball game photo. It was fun. I liked it. I loved how it turned out. It made me really happy. And then I'm going to add just a couple of little stickers on top of the photos too, because the bright blue, beautiful sky needs to be accented, I feel like. Now, I'm going to create one more journaling card. It's going to be a 3x4 that's going to go next to that basketball game photo, and it's going to go above that 4x6 card. But there are so many really cool things in this book, including this other piece of cut apart paper. And there's lots of parts in it that are very weekend away, long weekend, travel weekend sort of inspired. And so I'm going to cut it apart and I'm going to make it a 3x4 card. And it's super unlike anything I would ever do. It's really busy and probably like typically not what you would think of. And in all honesty, I love it anyway. Like it's fun and it absolutely just adds a little something extra there. So I'm cutting apart some of the other elements as well that I wanted to include, like this little weekend miniature piece. And then I'm going to that little one on top. Just so much fun, so cute, really different. And I love that pop. That is it for me this week. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. I have been hesitating making tons of videos because I don't know if people are interested anymore, and it's been sort of making me cut back. But if you loved it, I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. Make it a great day.